Follow your dream. You could do it, but you have to put in the hard work. There are so many days when people are going to tell you you can't, but you can. If you do a great job, you can be successful too.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Glenn Haussman. Previously, episode 1656 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 1 month, 19 days, 23 hours, and 15 minutes since we last recorded that conversation, plus or minus a few minutes. Glenn, it's been such a grand opportunity to connect with you. Please give us an update. What's going on? What are you doing?
Oh man, I'm having a great time. Again, just trying to redefine the way content is absorbed in my little corner of the universe, which for those of you who don't know, is all about the business of hotels and hotel news. Recently, I've been getting really into doing a lot more live stuff, either on LinkedIn or live shows in front of an audience and stuff like that. And boy, oh boy, is it fun creating a great community out there.
Has anyone ever said that, hey, Glenn, I think you're obnoxious?
No, people don't say I'm obnoxious, but they don't understand where I get my energy from. They think that there might be some sort of unscrupulous drug use involved, but I swear that is not the case.
Talk radio is something that has inspired you, and
Absolutely.
You bring it to the podcasting arena, and you do it well. You've been able to score sponsors on your podcast. You've been able to monetize your podcast, and you're not doing one podcast.
No, I'm up to 5 now, brother. It's insane.
Oh my, it's just amazing. So you've really dipped your toe into podcasting and then dove in right after. When I listened to the episode, your last episode, you were saying that, which is 189, you were saying that you're off to Florida, right? Is it South Florida? Tampa, is it?
Yes, I'm going down to a little bit south of Tampa to go see a brand new unveiling of a brand new hotel prototype for a company called Extended Stay America.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. How does it feel when you look back from the starting line, right?
Yeah.
To where you are today? I'm not saying you're at the finish line, but to see
totally.
where you are today, how does it feel?
Well, it feels interesting because there is no finish line, as you're saying. And it's really weird for me to talk about myself and say nice things about myself. But I got to tell you, man, I'm pretty proud of what I've been able to accomplish. I set out a little over 4 years ago to start this company and reinvent stuff. And I just did it on a wing and a prayer. And I can't believe that everybody seems to be coming along with me now. And it is just so gratifying to have a vision, to put in all that hard work, and then to see it take off. And you're right, because there is no finish line, because things keep changing. And you got to keep pushing yourself, and you've got to make sure that you're always in it, as they say, to win it.
So how much time do you spend at home versus on the road or traveling, average, in a year?
Good question. Probably about 40% of my time on the road, I would say. I've already got, let's see, we're recording this in the middle of January. I've got 4 trips already scheduled for just January and February alone.
Wow. Did you ever research the last name Haussman, where it came from?
No, I should have. Although I am honored that if you look at the film Dirty Dancing, the family in there is named Haussman, and you could never put baby in a corner, and that's baby Haussman. So that's as far as my research went. And I know there might have been some guy named Haussman that designed the city of Paris, but I'm sticking with baby Haussman.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the name was originally given to a person employed at the house. You know,
yes,
in most cases.
And every single time I talk to hotel people and they talk about the houseman in the hotel, I'm like, huh? What? Is that me? Is that me?
I was intrigued by that. I was like, all right. He's doing the hotel thing, right? He has the last name, Haussman. How cool is that?
Yeah.
You grew up in Forest Hill, Queens. Of course, you have that accent, right? You got that accent, right?
And I spent more time in Brooklyn than I did in Queens, so hey, forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
It's the Brooklyn accent I'm talking about.
Yeah, I tell you, I can talk Brooklyn all day long if you want, but no one's gonna really want to talk to me or hear what I have to say if I talk like that.
No, I was wondering, do you play an instrument like a guitar? Or...
I don't want to say played, but I did play saxophone from like 4th grade through 12th grade, and now my kids are taking up that mantle. I did not have the discipline or the inherent skill set to be able to pull it off. I can't get my fingers to move quick enough for instruments. I tried playing piano, but I will tell you, I'm a massive music fan. And if there's one thing that I could have done in life, it would have been to play music myself at a proficient level.
So would you play for Fish or not? Would it be a different genre of music?
Dude, I could never keep up with those boys. They're some of the best musicians in the world, and I appreciate you for recognizing that about my personality, because I just came back from 3 shows over the holiday season, and we're already planning our summer trip to go see some more. Only time I could get away with my guy friends, you know what I'm saying?
No, the twin. They're there. Yeah. The boys are there. How have they been impacted by everything that's going on? This life of you gone 60% of the time.
Yeah, I don't know how they've been impacted by it, because it has always been, right? So if you grow up in an environment and you don't know any differently, then it just seems incredibly normal to you. So I think that my kids aren't affected by it in one sense, but then again, maybe they are. Maybe they're affected positively for it. Let me throw that out there, because when I am home, I am home. I am daddy who is present. Today, as we're recording this, I'm in my home studio, and I'll be done by 3-4 o'clock today. And then I'll be able to make dinner for the family and focus on helping them with homework and all of that kind of good stuff. So maybe I'm actually more involved than if I was one of those commuting dads that disappeared at 6 a.m. and came home at 9 o'clock every night going back and forth to Manhattan. Who knows?
Yeah. And then there's the environment part, right?
Right.
I mean, the carbon footprint is rather small with walking out of your office into the house, right? And helping
That's right.
your parents. So how cool is that as well?
It's super cool, because if I need to yell at them, I could do it in 2 seconds.
Now, for those that are listening, Traveling Glenn, is that wrong on Instagram and everywhere people can get? Yeah?
Yeah, but more importantly, if you're on LinkedIn, just follow me at Glenn Haussman, or No Vacancy News on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm really trying to develop those communities as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Please tell us again. I think you did the Brooklyn accent there. Where can we find you?
Yeah, hey, go to novacancynews.com or find me at Traveling Glenn, you know what I'm saying?
In preparing for these notes, the first 2 words that I put is super funny.
Thanks, dude. If I could only monetize that, now that would be something. But unfortunately, I had wanted, Angel, to get involved in stand-up comedy back in the day, but my parents were cruel to me. They raised me with love and a good sense of self. So I didn't hate myself enough to be funny enough to slay that comedy beast. But I'm trying, I'm trying. I'm doing my part by torturing my kids every day so they will be comic geniuses. You
said everything in moderation, even moderation. How do you keep that balance? Are there Excel sheets that you check on?
You know what? I just keep my focus on the prize, and you cannot be successful in life if you go to extremes too much. I had some time off over the holiday, so I went to my Fish concert and I had some extreme fun, but now I'm back to it, my nose to the grindstone. And that means only a beer or 2 at a time, and you can't have 5 or 6. And instead of staying up till 2 a.m, I got to go to sleep at 10, 11 at night, because you know what? We only get to go around one time, and I want to make sure that I am being as productive and successful as I could possibly be, and I can't get in my own way.
Where does that conversation occur, the possibility that you could die today or tomorrow? Is that in the forefront, or is that something you put on the back shelf of your mind?
I think when I was younger, it was more forefront. Now, at the age where it doesn't freak me out as much, I'm going to turn 50 this year, and I've lived a long life, and I've had a lot of good experiences, so whatever is going to be will be. I don't think I will die with any regrets when that day comes. I just hope it doesn't come for a while, but I can certainly see, well, people that get older are like, yeah, I'm all set. I'm ready to go. If you feel like you've achieved your goals and your body starts to break down, which mine is not currently today, and I am perfectly healthy, but I understand how, some people could either fear it, have a neutral feeling about it, or just kind of embrace the end at some point in their life too.
When we're doing what we're doing, sometimes we run over or look over the fact that we did something that many other people want to understand or learn. For those podcasters out there that are listening, and I've heard this question time and time again on monetizing their podcast, right? Again, let me just put this in the compartment of, I believe that you should monetize your podcast around the thing that you do specifically, right? So let's say those that are in the hospitality industry, right? That want to know what's a great first step. What would you suggest to them?
If you want to get started, great first step is just do it. Start with putting out content on a regular basis that is going to resonate with your end audience. I did not monetize my podcast when I first started it. I needed to get my listeners. I needed to create some excitement around it. And it took me, I think, a good year to a year and a half before I could even start to have those conversations with people. Fortunately, in my community, the world started to catch up to where I already was. And now people are into it. People are willing to spend their money to be represented by me on this podcast series that I do. And it's just absolutely incredible that people are putting their resources behind my content.
My friend, this is such of a grand opportunity. I do not take it lightly that I can call. I say, Glenn, can you come on to the podcast, right? You get onto the podcast and you say and share how sticking to it is rewarding, that not giving up on something that seemed far-fetched, that family would have laughed at you for, right? That it is possible to continue and to have a family with that going on. So thanks for that, my friend. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
All right. I've done this 189 weeks straight. No days off, 189 weeks of putting out that No Vacancy podcast. Then I started checking in with Anthony and Glenn podcast, which I do with the guy from Hotel Impossible that you guys have seen on the Travel Channel and stuff like that, plus several other shows. Follow your dream. You could do it, but you have to put in the hard work. There are so many days when people are going to tell you you can't, but you can. If you do a great job and you have a vision and you stick to it and you're not a lazy ass, you can be successful too.
A pleasure. I treasure Glenn Haussman, folks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.